girls, hope you're all doing well and welcome to our first online lesson in class. Just one moment please. There we go. I just want to put my shield on. Oh, that's better. Now I can talk better. Okay girls, so I'm sure you're missing all your friends and I'm going to give your friends an opportunity to greet you. So here we go. Just one moment. No, that's not right. How do you put it on non-selfie mode?
You have to pause the video.
Oh, you have to pause. Okay, girls, I'm just pausing quickly. There we go. Hi, Sua. There we go. Natalie, yes. There we go. Sharika, Zaya. What's it?
That's Hannah, not Zaya.
Hannah. Sorry, my girl. There we go. Taslima, Sisifu, feeling a bit shy today. Ashley and Zaya. Look at their beautiful, beautiful paintings. I am going to show you today how to paint the sunflower. I think I have shown you, but I'll give you another demonstration on how to paint the petals of the sunflowers. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. Excellent, girls. And I will do your demonstration of how to paint the petals shortly, but for now it is goodbye. Great, girls. Well, in this lesson I am going to show you how to paint the petals of the sunflowers. Or just to refresh your memory, I probably have shown some of you already. This is my painting. You can vary the colors of the sunflowers. I've put extra neon paint on the tips of the above one. So you can make one maybe darker. Mine are more or less the same tonal range, but that is an idea if you want to bring in variety. Maybe you can do the front ones darker, and then that one medium, and a bit lighter and very light. Okay, so that is just a tip if you want to pursue that avenue. Excellent. So next week we're going to have a pickup a pickup time where your parents will come and collect your art kits, and I will put your artwork, your painting, or your what you have done thus far. That's part of the kit, and I will put these two templates. These worksheets will be in your kit, and these paints that I have decanted in these lovely paint containers, and these are completely paint proof, so airtight, so the paint won't dry. Just ensure that you close the lids very tightly each time you take out some paint. And these do belong to school, so when you return your finished artwork, please remember to return these containers as well as the 2 paint brushes and the palette. Great. So girls, that all needs to come back with your artwork. Excellent. And then at home you can just get a container with water and excuse me, and also a cloth, just an old t-shirt, you know, that you can cut up and you can use as the rags that you need as well, just so that your paintbrush doesn't get too watery, and the paint as well. Great, girls. So now, seeing we started our first online lesson with the grade 7M class, I am now going to refresh your memory, and I'm going to show you how to paint the petals. I hope, whose is this? I hope, Sankavi, you don't mind that I use your artwork, that I do a demonstration on your artwork, as I have painted all my petals already. Great, girls, I'll be with you shortly. Right, girls, well, let me just explain to you. In class, the girls are using these containers. They are not completely airtight, so I have to wrap them up in cling film and put them in another plastic bag after each lesson so that the paint doesn't dry out. And therefore, I had to purchase these containers for you girls. They're also just easier for transporting. Right, girls, but just to explain to you, this is your lightest color. It would be your 0. Then number 1 is your light yellow. Number 2 is your more like your sunny yellow. Number 3 is your orange and your sunny yellow mixed. Number 4 is your orange. And number 5 is your orange mixed with a tiny bit of black. Black is a very strong pigment, so you only need a tiny little bit. So girls, please, you can always rewind the video if you want to just kind of understand that better. So you have got the information. Great, lovely girls. So what you do now is you open each, like I say, they are airtight, and oopsie daisy, you don't need a lot of paint, girls. Just take a little bit. This paint goes very far each time, and close the container very, very well. So you do that. Okay, and then you clean your paintbrush. We want to keep our paints, sorry, I'm just cleaning it, and then you dab your paintbrush with the cloth so it's nice and dry, so that when you take your next color, it is not, oopsie daisy, it is not too watery. Okay, little bit there we go. Take all the paint, excellent, and we close it nice and firmly. Please make sure that it clicks when you close it, and I'm sure this will be enough paint for you to complete your sunflower masterpiece, as long as you work economically with it and take a little bit at a time. You can always take out more if need be, but if you are going to have a long painting session, if you take out too much, the paint might dry and you don't want to waste. Great, and then even if you don't have a long painting session, you can then please put the paint that you haven't used back in the same way that you are now taking it out, where you clean the brush each time, and then you dry the brush to ensure that your colors stay nice and clean, and then a tiny bit of black, tiny bit. Like I say, it's a very strong pigment. Great, girls. So there we go. So your containers are nice and closed. There we go. So I just want to again say to you, that's your 0, that's your 1, your 2, your 3 is a bit of orange mixed with that color. Oopsie, you should actually clean your brush in between so you don't dirty the color. There we go. I've cleaned the brush, and then you can always mix that in between that tone, which is your 3. Okay, and then your 4 is your orange. And let me clean my brush. And your 5, for your very dark one, is your orange. Let me clean my brush. There we go. And a tiny bit of black. So you add that, and that becomes your very, very... I am extremely economical with paint. We do need to look after our planet. And I mean, to manufacture this paint, it's factories, it's smoke, etc., etc. So we want to be as environmentally friendly as possible. and look after our resources. We don't want to waste. And also, the budget worldwide is very limited now for everyone. Correct. Great, girls. So now you've got your palette there. And let me just, I've lifted this artwork up. Oopsie. There we go. So I'm going to now just, I hope you can see okay. Let me just pull this down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Great. So I am going to paint this petal here. So we are painting wet in wet. And with your big sunflower, we start with the number 2. Let me just do that. With the number 2, you paint the whole petal with your number 2 paint. Now for the top one, for the top sunflower, that's if you want it to be lighter, you can paint the whole petal with your number 1. And for your little buds, you can use the neon color only, and then do your shading with a mixture of maybe that yellow and a tiny bit of orange. Okay, so you can vary the different tones. Great, so there we go. And I'm using the paintbrush. Let me just remove this up. Oh, now it's swiveled. I'm using the paintbrush also side. Oh, can you see? No, you can't. Just one moment, girls, sorry. Right, so this is the bit of scrap paper at the end where you can do your practicing on. So one can use this brush also on the side if you want to get a nice sharp point. You use it sideways. Okay, but of course the other thin little brush is there for that purpose, that for if you want to have thin little pointy shapes, you can just use that pointy thin rounded paintbrush, and then you can always fill up with the other paintbrush, the flat soft one. Right, girls, there we go. So let's return to the petals. Great. Just one moment again. Thank you. Right, girls, so let's continue. So that took a little while to demonstrate. So in case your petal got dried in the meantime, you just paint over it again. See how I'm using the side there of the paintbrush? You paint over it again. Great. And then you clean your paintbrush well. You dab it with the cloth to dry it. Let me see. There we go. And now you take a darker color. You can either take your orange or your mixture here of orange and yellow. And you start at the bottom, and then you just pull the darker tone up. Great. There we go. And then you clean your brush again, and you dry it. And then you take your light. I'll just take the neon color. And now, very important, you start at the top and you pull that color down. You see how I'm using the side of this flat head brush. Or you can experiment also with this rounded pointy brush. There we go. Now the nice thing about acrylic paint is that it is like a plastic paint, so you can paint layer over layer without the previous layer dissolving like watercolor paint would. So you can really build it up. So I'm going with the neon over this other petal. I hope you don't mind, Sankavi. And then you can just work, and you can, in that way, you can give it lovely layers. It's a bit like oil painting. And I always meant to clean your brush in between, dry it, so that your colors stay nice and clean, and your paint doesn't get too watery. Okay, make sure there's sometimes a drop of water on the paintbrush after dipping it in the water, so you just make sure it's all dry. And maybe you want to make that one there a bit lighter, so you can see it overlaps over the petal next to it. Great. Great, girls. So now the ones that are kind of here, the little bits of petals sticking out from behind, for that, this little pointy brush is very useful, because there you go straight into the corner. Again, I'm using this sunny yellow, the one that's a little bit darker than we call this the sunny yellow, and that we can call the lemon yellow, the sunny yellow, the lemon yellow, and the neon yellow. Right, so now I've painted that little one in the back there. Again, I clean my brush, I dry it, and now it's nice to take off that excess water there. It's nice to take, you see how quickly this paint dries, to take this darker orange mixed with a tiny little bit of black, and then you go there into the corner, because now that petal is tucked away behind the others. And then you make it a little bit darker. Again, you clean your brush, working wet and wet. Let me take this lemon yellow. Oh, so now I would work up, that's correct. Working from up, from the top to the bottom. And so you can experiment and find your own way. If there's too much paint, you clean it, you dry it. And then with a dry brush, you just make sure you blend the two colors. Great. So there we go. Now the next one again, this is so much fun. You would now again just start with your sunny yellow. Make sure that's all nice and dry. Paint your whole petal. And don't get intimidated if the petals are different shapes. It's all the same principle. You cover the whole petal with your one tone of yellow, your sunny yellow in this case, and then you go to your next tone and you work from, let me add a wee bit of black to this orange, because that's also behind the other petals, so that would be a bit darker. So you work from dark at the base of the petal, right? And if you, now you're not going to take it all the way up, otherwise the petal's going to get too dark. You're going to stop here, clean your brush, dry it nicely. And then, if you just quickly want to, now it's a dry, clean brush. Oopsie daisy, sorry about that. Dry, clean brush, and if you want, and now you blend it in before it dries, right? So you can blend it in nicely. So it's got a nice, even, gradual kind of shading. Clean your brush, and now you can take a bit of neon yellow, go from the top, and then you do the tip. You can do nice and light. Great. So that one is behind that one. So maybe we'll just put, I should actually clean it. There we go. Dry. So we can make it a wee bit darker. Let me make this mixture of orange and sunny yellow. There we go. I don't want this video to be too long. Let me just watch the time. Great. And then you do understand what I mean. So that will be darker again. And then we can add, if it's too much, you just take the excess off, clean the brush, dry it. But like I say, you will find your own technique in doing this. Great, so there we go, girls. Excellent. Great, so as I say, I don't want this video to be too long. So there we go. So with the top one, you can do a neon and just take your sunny yellow and orange and just work from the bottom up. Great. And then this one you can do, instead of number 2, your sunny yellows as the base of the petal, you can take your lemon yellow as a base. And then maybe the front ones here at the bottom you can do a little bit darker, because usually objects that are in front are darker, and as you go back they get lighter. Great, girls. And then these little ones, you don't paint. Those little ones have got leaves at the bottom, so you just paint the top bits in nice and neon yellow, and do the bottom bits a little bit darker, as I've done with mine. Great. Marvelous, girls. And also remember to erase your grid so we don't see the grid shining through. And don't worry now about drawing the leaves in. Just paint your petals, that's the most important. And then as we carry on, we'll simplify the leaves, and I'll show you how to draw them in and then paint them as well. And obviously we're going to do the center of the sunflowers before we do the leaves. Great, girls. Thank you so much. Bye. Hi, girls. I'm back again. Before I turn off the video, I just want to remind you that I need to practice what I preached. Very, very important. So now I won't do it to all of the colors, because like I said, the video mustn't be too long. Make sure that you put your colors back nicely, all the last little bit of paint, because you'll be amazed how much a little bit of paint can actually paint, how many petals you can paint with a little bit of paint. So each bit, then you clean your brush, dry it nicely. Each little bit of paint we need to preserve. There we go. And put that back. And so we carry on. I'm going to do that with the rest of the colors as well. Okay, girls. Bye. Okay, girls. This is the end of our lesson. Bye. Keep well. Bye. Bye.
See you when you
Okay. Bye. 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 Bye.